The unannounced project has a lot of evidence to it, and a lot of people think it's Guild Wars 3. But is it really? There is also another theory saying that maybe instead it's an update to Guild Wars 2, a huge update, a remaking of Guild Wars 2 in the Unreal Engine. But is this even possible? And if it is, should they do it? Is there any evidence? We're gonna go through that in this video, and whether it would be even good for the game. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, and let's get into it. First of all, what would it be? Well, it would be a graphical update to Guild Wars 2 while also redoing the entire code so it doesn't have any issues with it. Moving into the Unreal Engine, which is a way more updated engine and gives more possibilities for ArenaNet to develop the game in an easier manner. This will be very helpful because maybe this will make it so they can actually change the game from a fundamental level, which is very hard for them right now. Every time there's a new patch, something breaks. And there's so many limitations because the engine that Guild Wars 2 is on is from back on 2005, the literal start of Guild Wars 1. Yeah, it's the same engine, and most of the people that knew how this engine worked, they left the company, they're no longer there, and the documentation is pretty bad on how the code works, making it very hard for them to actually develop the game. A lot of people kind of shit a little bit on ArenaNet because they're like, oh, how do they not do a lot of content? How is everything so bugged all the time? In a lot of ways, it's not really their fault, especially the ArenaNet that we have now, but the ArenaNet that was there from the start. And a new graphical update, a new rework of the entire systems of the game, and that amount of hype would be very, very good for the game. It could bring Guild Wars 2 into the forefront of MMORPGs. But coding is very, very hard, especially when your engine is very, very old. Bringing Guild Wars 2 and realizing how the code works and bringing it into another engine is a monumental task. Is it even possible considering the game is so old? Well, someone else already is doing it. Mabinogi, a game that came out in 2004? Oh my god, it's older than Guild Wars 1. I mean, this is the game. Is actually being updated into Unreal Engine 5, moved into Unreal Engine 5, which is insane. So I guess it is possible. There was also some evidence of Guild Wars 2 assets being moved into Unreal Engine 5 a year ago, which also supports this idea. Now, don't get too excited. This doesn't mean this is actually happening, especially with the limitations that ArenaNet has, but it is possible. Now that we established that, let's go for the positives and negatives of each one. First of all, it keeps the veterans happy. All the people that have invested money in this game, that have played for years since release, and even a little bit before that, they will not lose their progress. They can continue playing the game and they will not feel betrayed by ArenaNet for getting this released. It's important to note that the community of veterans is not as big as in other MMORPGs, and realistically, most of the people that they would get from a new project would be way bigger than any veteran community in Guild Wars 2. But it is still a positive to keep those big fans that love the game and have been with the game there for so long still there. They will still spend money, they will still support the game, and they will be there for the game, defending it against people who don't like it. Believe me, sometimes I make negative videos about Guild Wars 2, even if I care about Guild Wars 2 a lot, and those people are very passionate and they don't want their game to be attacked. And those people are very valuable to a company like ArenaNet and a game like Guild Wars 2. Keeping them, in a lot of ways, is a very big positive. The second positive is the game is already good. Why stop it? Why destroy it and make another one when this game just works? The content is good, the combat is good, and there's just so many years of content. Like, just in terms of the story, just look at all this that we've gotten throughout the years. It's completely insane. And each of these story steps has a new and a complete map with metas, with open world, with story, with ambience, with voice acting, with fractals and raids and strikes and everything. Getting rid of all of this in one go is definitely annoying. And when a new MMO comes out, you have to wait for content to come out again, making a lot of people quit, just like happened with New World and every other MMO that comes out. But in Guild Wars 2, you don't have to wait for that because the game is just huge. And also, it kind of doesn't matter. Everyone can just go and do it because there's no vertical progression. You can just go in there, have fun with the content, not have to grind for anything, just enjoy it. You will also get an insane amount of people rallying behind the game instantly. A lot of core fans that will just be there supporting the game. And even if it doesn't get too popular, you have that core fan base that just will love the game and play the game. While also securing the future of many, many years of Guild Wars 2 after the release. They can even take all their time they want to release the Guild Wars 2.5 because, well, you still have Guild Wars 2 to develop, and all that effort and time will just go straight into Guild Wars 2.5. And checking the amount of hype that Mobinogi has gotten, at least in their community, for this announcement, it's pretty nice to see. They're even doing a Frieren and Mabinogi crossover, which is kind of crazy. Now, let's go for the bad part though, the negatives. Realistically, Guild Wars 2 has a lot of issues, whether that is balance, lack of clarity, power creep. There's just so much problems that Guild Wars 2 has. And with Guild Wars 2.5, those problems would still be there. If they made Guild Wars 3 instead, they can just delete all those. They can just start over, not have any power creep, don't have to worry about people in the community being mad at you for changing something that was very bad for the game, but they liked. Do you guys remember when ESO tried to change the combat, but everybody in their game got mad at it, even though their combat objectively sucks, just because they were used to it and they liked it? Yeah, that can happen in Guild Wars 2 as well. And you can see it in things like the fashion inspection system being heavily criticized when it came out. How? Why? Or people complaining about being able to get the sky skull in Seekers of the Obscure. These are no-brainers that are just posted for the game, but because people don't like it, because they unlocked it before, or because they had to deal with these problems for a long time, they don't want it gone. It's exactly like that phenomenon where you have a very hard life and then you want everyone else to suffer like you, because otherwise it invalidates what you survived, what you went through. I get it, but it's not good for the game or for anyone else. And ArenaNet not having to deal with those people is definitely a positive for just starting over with Guild Wars 3. Speaking of starting over, if Guild Wars 2.5 happens, all of the skill that everybody has in the game, whether that is PvE, PvP, War vs. World, will still be there. And 10 plus years of people practicing the game getting better, how do you compete with that? Could Guild Wars 2.5 really have a competitive scene in terms of PvP when everybody else knows how to play this game insanely well already, and getting to that point is just years away of practice while having to fight these people at the same time? Probably not. One of the coolest things of a new game, especially MMORPGs, is discovering things, knowing how they work, and everyone being on the same starting ground. Whenever you come into an MMO and everybody knows exactly how to fix everything, how to do everything, how to optimize everything, it makes it way, way worse. Still can happen, it still is possible. Look at classic WoW, but it's definitely a very big disadvantage. Especially when you have a game like this that is heavily skillful and way more mechanically intensive than something like classic WoW. Another problem is that it won't be as much hype as a just full announcement for a new game. If you played Guild Wars 2 before, even if it's a new updated system, a new updated graphics, and the future of the game, it's still just Guild Wars 2. If you didn't like Guild Wars 2 before, why would you like it now? Sure, the animations will be polished, it will be new, but if you don't like it, you don't like it. And a lot of people will feel that way. They might actually try it, but there's gonna be a lot of people who will just not enjoy it, and also they may have made their mind. A thing like Guild Wars 3 would absolutely destroy the MMORPG internet. Asmongold will be playing it, Just Drive Haze will be playing it, literally everyone will be playing it, desperate to get into the new MMO. Realistically, that will not happen with Guild Wars 2.5. It still will have a lot of hype, but not to the same extent as Guild Wars 3. Not even close. I mean, guys, when Guild Wars 2 came out on 2012, it was insane. Everybody was playing it. It was the MMO, the WoW killer. It was. This is it. And Guild Wars 3 would absolutely create that same effect again. Guild Wars 2.5? Probably not. And for the last one, it's a lot of money, guys. Creating a new MMORPG is a lot of money, but moving one MMO from one engine to the other is also a lot of money. In some ways, it's very, very close to just developing it again. Why not just go and do a new game instead? Why not just get all the positives from a new game instead of just having all the negatives of keeping the old one? I don't think there's a clean cut here. One is better than the other, but there's definitely some disadvantages from making Guild Wars 2.5. But I also think there's a few things that they could do to remove a lot of these negatives and get a lot of the positives from Guild Wars 3 into Guild Wars 2.5. And these are remaking a lot of the systems in the game. Things like masteries, things like going for the entire story in order to get your mounts, the new player experience, the traits, the equipment, changing all of this and reworking it, especially weapon skills, classes, and so on, even animations, could make it so every player that knows a lot about the game doesn't anymore. In terms of combat, in terms of economy, in terms of how the world works, how the encounters work. Remaking all of this and re-releasing Guild Wars 2 in a more polished state could absolutely bring every new player to a closer place as veterans, making them easier to actually join in and wanting to do so. They would have to make this work though and remake the entire leveling experience so it's easier to get what we have gotten throughout all these years. Like imagine having to go from HOT to Path of Fire to EOD to Soto to Janthier into wherever the new expansion is just to start playing the game. I think it's very unreasonable. But if they just change this, if they rework the entire game and make all of this content optional, boom, we might actually have a chance. But honestly, I think it's pretty unlikely this is the case. Not only because of the amount of work that they would actually take, and probably they would consider Guild Wars 3 being a better option, but also because, well, why would you do all these things when you can just do Guild Wars 3 and have Guild Wars 2 as a second game to just make passive money from? Having Guild Wars 2 being developed, having mini expansions, while at the same time having Guild Wars 3 being the future of the franchise and also the main game, sounds like a better deal. And also, honestly, why wouldn't they have told us already? People have been dooming about Guild Wars 2 for a while now, with good reason. The latest expansions were not good, and we know that Guild Wars 3, quote-unquote, is being worked on. If you don't believe me, you can go check out all of the evidence videos that I have. You know, just go check them out. And with the new post talking about how they're gonna make the development slower to give us better content, instead of actually just build up, hiring more people, or getting people from the unannounced project into Guild Wars 2 to get bigger expansions and better expansions, an announcement like this would be heavily understandable. And I think everyone would be like, yeah, you know what? It's okay. Just, we don't mind that you don't give us bigger maps and all this other stuff. Man, just give us less and finish this, because that would be insane. Why wouldn't they tell this to us? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe one of the reasons why they're focusing so much on the core systems of Guild Wars 2 is in order to move it to a new version of the game. But I don't know. I don't see it. I kind of want it. I would probably rather personally more for me for Guild Wars 2.5 to come out than Guild Wars 3, especially as a veteran that has a lot of knowledge of the game. But it's hard for me to tell you guys that it's the most likely possibility. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think? If you think it would be a good idea, if you think it would be a bad idea, and if you think it's just completely insane. I did want to make this video because it's an important one, and I think not a lot of people have been talking about an idea like this, and I get asked for it in my Twitch chat all the time, so I can just do a command, !Guild Wars 2.5, and they can just go and watch that video. But let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning. See you guys around. Love you all. Ciao, ciao.